Four hikers were rescued in the wilderness after a bad psychedelic mushroom trip. Teenage girls are being used as hit women in Sweden, and a woman was tricked by a romance scammer posing as an astronaut who needed money for oxygen. These are the weird stories for Monday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast in the industry. I got three weird, kinky, strange, offbeat stories for you today to start your week. Let's go. Four hikers suffered debilitating psychedelic mushroom highs while in the wilderness and had to be rescued. Let me tell you something. If my mushroom high was not debilitating, I would ask for a refund from my shroomy dealer. I'm like, look, bro, I ordered dragons. All right. I want to see dragons. If I'm not seeing dragons, then I want my money back. This story is out of upstate New York. Four hikers had to be rescued in upstate New York after they got lost while experiencing, quote, debilitating psychedelic mushroom highs over Labor Day weekend. This was on August 29th. These young men were in the Slide Mountain Wilderness near Giant Ledge. You know the place. That's where we all made out. Remember back in the day? Well, these young boys were out there trying to navigate the wilderness under some strong chemicals. They were about 2,600 feet in elevation when they sent a text message reporting that they were in fact lost in the Slide Mountain Wilderness near Giant Ledge. Dispatchers were informed that the group of boys had consumed mushrooms and that one individual was experiencing what they described as a debilitating high. Well, that's because you took too much, man. You took too much, bro. You took too much. So sad. Here we have stupid boys making drugs look bad because of their irresponsible approach to high-powered hallucinogenics. All right, you have to pay attention to your set and your setting. Okay, you don't approach these things all casually, like whoop-de-doo, I'm just going to take a bunch of mushrooms and then walk through unfamiliar territory on the side of a mountain at 2,600 feet elevation. That's not how you do these things. And a simple Google could have told you this is not how you do these things. Or you could have asked an adult and they would have probably told you this was a bad idea. Now it says here, fortunately, that the group was escorted to the trailhead where they were evaluated by the Shandaken ambulance. Doesn't say who escorted them. The helicopter fly in and some paratroopers jumped out. We got to help the tripping children. How much tax dollars were wasted on these dummies? I mean, what are you doing? It says here the group of idiots also lost their car keys during this mushroom incident, so the rangers provided a courtesy ride to the hikers' rental lodging. The following day, officials returned to the area and located a sling bag containing the missing keys under a log in tall ferns. That sounds like it was intentionally placed there by some tripping morons. We got to hide the car keys. It can take you to a weird place, these things. That's why you don't do them with strangers, A. B, in strange territory. Not to say that it isn't nice to do these things while you're around nature, but, there's around nature, simple nature, where you're also still safe. You're near civilization. And then there's out in the wilderness, trekking through mountains on powerful doses of hallucinogenics that can make you slightly disoriented, even if you know what you're doing. And these guys probably made the mistake of they got disoriented and then they kept moving, which, that's the last thing you want to do. If you just lay down or sit down after a few hours, it's going to wear off. You don't start scrambling around the ferns. You don't crawl on your elbows and knees through batches of poison ivy at this point. You just stay still. Have your conversation with God. All right. Make amends. Say you're sorry for all the wrong you've done and that you're going to be a better person. Tell the universe you're grateful for her and all that she's brought to you, like these trees and these great smelling patches of moss. I always state what I'm grateful for, and I thank the universe for such amazing things as wiffle ball, fantasy football, and cheesecake. And I spend most of the time with my eyes closed, laying down on a comfortable bed or a sofa or at least a pillow, trekking through the woods. What is wrong with these? I mean, that's fine for cannabis or a low dose of some of these hallucinogens. It's not good for high doses of these things. Before you take high doses of any chemical, just ask yourself, am I going to need my wits about me for the next 6 hours? And if the answer is yes, then you do a lower dose or no dose. You save it for when you can just be a blob on the floor. Or you wait for a time when you can have a friend there, what's called a sitter. Have you heard of this phrase? A sitter? This is somebody who can sort of be in the vicinity of you when you're having a high dose situation. And so if anything goes wrong, you can call them into the room or text them or whatever. Look, I'm just trying to educate you on the proper way of doing these things because clearly the word isn't getting out there. And now you got stories like this that give mushrooms a bad name, and mushrooms shouldn't be given a bad name because, not because of the activity of dummies, in my opinion. These things are a million times safer than alcohol, hands down. I mean, for every story of some incident that went down involving teenagers taking too many mushrooms and then having to locate the park ranger to save them, there's 500 gazillion stories of dumb boys doing horrible things on alcohol that never get shared or spoken about. Why? Well, because in this culture, apparently it's normal behavior to get blackout drunk, leave the bar, urinate into a parking cone, and give the finger to the police. That's like normal. No story here. Anyways, I say all this to say, guys, just do drugs in a smart way, please. If you're gonna do them, be smart. Do your research. Ask a friend. Ask a mentor. I mean, you must know somebody who goes to Burning Man. Talk to them first. Teenage girls are being hired as hitwomen in Sweden's organized crime wars. That's right. Apparently, teenage girls are hiring themselves out as hitwomen in some organized crime wars going on in Sweden. Did anyone know about these organized crime wars in Sweden? I'm very surprised to hear this is going on in Sweden. It's one of the more safer countries in the world. In addition to these hit women being out there and doing their thing, according to prosecutors, they're even more deadly and ruthless than the young men that are committing hits. These hit women, watch out. One Stockholm prosecutor is quoted as saying, "Well, I had a case involving a 15-year-old girl recruited to shoot somebody in the head. She was able to choose the type of mission that she wanted. In other words, to aim at the guy's door or his head, she chose the head." She was also arrested with a 17-year-old male accomplice who pulled the trigger, leaving the victim clinging to life after being shot in the neck, stomach, and legs. This prosecutor says an increasing number of teenagers, especially girls, are offering their services to mobsters, including services as hit women. Did anyone know about this? I've never heard of this before. And they say teenagers are lazy and they don't want to work, but we have some teenagers really trying to make a buck. So you got to give them credit. I mean, they're a little misguided, but hey, at least they're hustling. Now there's some stats here regarding the hit girls. Some 280 girls ages between 15 and 17 were charged with murder, manslaughter, or other violent crimes last year in Sweden, though it is unclear how many were linked to organized crime. Well, I don't know how you can make this statement then if you don't know how many of them were linked to organized crime. The title of the story is Hit Women Used in Organized Crime, but then you don't even have the data to back that up. Is this just fear-mongering? I'm afraid it might be just fear-mongering. I don't know. We have to speak to somebody in Sweden to know if this is really an issue. I mean, I really don't even know how to translate the number 280. They're saying girls between 15 and 17 charged with murder, manslaughter, or other violent crimes. Is that a lot? I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot to me, but then again, I reside in the US of A where everybody seems to be a violent criminal, so it's a disaster over here. This article says that shootings and bombings are a near daily occurrence, with organized crime often recruiting teenagers under the age of 15, which is the age of criminal responsibility, to do their dirty work. The prosecutor adds, quote, "In general, these kids are thirsty for blood." Well, I don't know if I believe this. Like, come on. It says Sweden was once known for low crime, but the gangs who emerged over the last 15 years have changed all that with drug and arms trafficking, welfare fraud, and human trafficking, according to authorities. The government now calls them a systemic threat to the country, these teenage hit girls. Really? I really find this difficult to believe. But I mean, I guess this is what happens when kids watch too much anime. They become hit girls. Yeah, whether it's true or not, I'll tell you right now, someone ought to make a streaming series about these hit girls. Wouldn't that be fascinating to watch? 15 to 17-year-old girls just assassinating government officials and whatnot. I mean, I'd be into it. That'd be compelling viewership for sure. Anyone live in Sweden that can corroborate these claims about the hit girls? Has anyone had an assassination attempt on their own person by a hit girl? Maybe at a boba place or a roller rink? If so, email me the video, will you? funnyjones@gmail.com. I want to see that.
For a limited time at McDonald's, get a Big Mac Extra Value Meal for $8. That means 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, and medium fries, and a drink. We may need to change that jingle.
Prices and participation may vary.
A woman was tricked by a romance scammer posing as an astronaut in distress. A Japanese octogenarian, I guess that means someone in their 80s. Did I get my Latin numerals correct? This lady was swindled, sadly, out of thousands of dollars after falling in love online with a self-described astronaut who asked her to help avert a spaceship crisis. Oh no, this poor granny was duped by a fake astronaut. I hope she didn't send too much money, but I have a feeling she sent too much money. Now, the Japanese woman lives in northern Hokkaido Island. She met the fraudster in July on social media who claimed to be an astronaut. Yeah, they're always claiming to be astronauts. Either that or Brad Pitt. It's Brad Pitt or astronauts. They seem to be equally effective. I covered a story about a lady that was tricked by a guy pretending to be an astronaut last year. He convinced her to send money for a return flight back to Earth to be with her. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, you really got to be silly and foolish and naive, or maybe you're just demented. Is that what it's called when you have dementia? Demented? Yeah, there's some dementia going on here. But even though I have my grandmother and I'm home, so I've spent some time with her, she's going through dementia, but I don't think she would even hand her money over to somebody claiming to be an astronaut and needed help. I don't think so. No, I think you got to be craftier than that to extract some money from an old miserly Italian woman. Well, this one seemed to work. This woman sent money. Scamming the elderly seems to be big business, sadly. Let's get the details here. The man claims he's an astronaut. After some exchanges online with the 80-year-old Japanese woman, the scammer told her that he was, quote, in space on a spaceship right now, but was, quote, under attack and in need of oxygen. That's a very odd approach. I don't know how this guy came up with that, of all the things to say. Yeah. I mean, you could have asked for money for cigarettes or something. I don't know. You're running out of oxygen. You're under attack, attacked by aliens. Like, what are these scammers just, having side bets with each other to see what sort of cockamamie plans they can push through on these octogenarians? I mean, what was the backup plan? Tell her that, you were offering a spa package on Uranus. All right, it says the scammer urged this woman to pay him online to help him buy more oxygen and successfully tricked her into sending 1 million yen, which is $6,700 to her. The woman lives alone and started developing feelings for him as their online communication progressed, which eventually led to her wiring him money for his oxygen needs. Quote, oxygen needs. I mean, it's unbelievable what these guys get away with. But if you break it down like this, right, it kind of makes sense. All right. If 1 in a billion fall for your scam, that's like 8 successful scams with enough thousands of dollars to get you through the year. So, I mean, with those rates, you can just start fishing with the most outrageous scenarios you could even come up with. Once in a while, someone's going to fall for this crap. You remember the Brad Pitt has cancer one? I mean, this is just levels of naivete, believing A, that this is Brad Pitt talking to you on Facebook, believing B, that he has cancer, but yet it's not in the news, believing C, that Brad Pitt doesn't have millions of dollars to treat his own cancer, or at the least some top-notch insurance. I mean, there's so many levels. It's almost as though you have to try to believe this stuff. Now, this article happens to mention that Japan has the world's second oldest population in the world, according to the World Bank, and that the elderly people frequently fall prey to various forms of organized fraud, especially in Japan. And in fact, romance scammers overall drain billions of dollars from people seeking love, and their tactics have evolved in very sinister ways in the online age. More than 6,400 Americans were taken for over $1 billion in 2023, which was double the $500 million just 4 years earlier, according to the FTC. About half of people who are using dating sites say they've come across somebody who tried to scam them out of money. This article then ends on a quote from Republican David Vallado of California, who says, no matter how advanced you think your ability to understand what's out there, they're going to deceive so many people, and we really have to get in front of this one. I mean, yeah, I agree with this guy, but what are you going to do? You can take the smartphones away from these people. Maybe give them flip phones. My grandma has a flip phone, so she's never going to be on the other end of a scam like this because there's no way she can even get into an app, and they typically happen via apps. Although lately I've been getting text messages as well, so there's some phishing going on with the texts. I don't know what you do. I mean, isn't there a nerd out there that can help with this? Design some app that allows us to identify immediately that this is a scammer and block them, or immediately it gets forwarded to the authorities. I don't know. There's got to be a technological solution for this. It's funny. I was just talking about this whole ordeal with my girlfriend Selena Gomez. We were texting each other on the iPhone that I bought her last week, and yeah, she's got these concerns as well. I mean, everybody should be concerned, right? Hello, it's Jonesy. I've been delivering weird news for a long, long time. Hello, my friends and loyal listeners. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Weird AF News. Thanks for being patient with me. I've been dealing with technical difficulties regarding this podcast ever since I arrived in Boston. If you don't know, my sound equipment was crushed on the trip over here, so I ordered a microphone, and I'm using it now, and I'm not too pleased with the quality. It's a mic I've never used before, and I didn't want to spend a ton of money on a nice microphone, being that I already have two of them at home. I don't want to pay big money for a third one. So I got kind of a cheaper one, and I don't think it's cutting it. But anyways, you be the judge and you let me know if this is working. Please email me, funnyjones@gmail.com. I'm doing the best I can here while I'm traveling. Now, under the ordinary circumstances, I'm sure a podcaster like myself would have just say, screw it, I'm on vacation for the next week. But I wanted to put out content for you guys. I know you kind of rely on this podcast as part of your daily news lineup. So I wanted to keep providing content for you so that it can still be part of your daily routine. And so I'm trying my best to do that. I recycled some episodes last week. I don't know. I didn't get any feedback from them, but did you guys enjoy that? Is that like an okay option as well? Because if this sounds as bad as I think it is coming on the other side, I'm not going to do this one again with this microphone anyways. So please give me some feedback on this. You got my email. I would appreciate that. You can also DM me on Instagram @funnyjones. Let's take a moment to give thanks and praise to Mason and Brianna, who bought me coffees off my website, weirdafnews.com. Very generous couple we have here. They wrote, "We have been listening to your podcast, Jonesy, pretty much every day for the last 3 years. You come on right after we slog through a couple of depressing mainstream news shows, and honestly, your whole make the news suck less with humor thing hits just right these days. As people from Orange County and now living in New England, we really resonate with most of your content and train of thought. P.S. Sorry about your sound equipment. Hope this helps." It helps tremendously, Mason and Brianna. So I appreciate that your generosity is super, and it really cheered me up as well. So I appreciate that. From Orange County, now living in New England. Oh, all right. How you enjoying that? What part of New England? I'm curious. I'm here now. Let's meet up for some shots. Anyways, shout out to Mason and Brianna for being awesome listeners and supporters of the show. Appreciate that. And if you guys want to support, you can go to weirdafnews.com and join the Patreon or buy coffees. Do that thing. I hope you had an amazing weekend. I was so psyched to be watching football again. You guys know I'm a football freak, so I'm in various fantasy football leagues, including one for the Patreon. And it looks like I'm going to come away with a W, first win of the season. Those of you who are unaware, there's a fantasy football league for Weird AF News. It's Patreon only. And last year I won the whole thing. And I put it out there that this year I'm probably going to win again. But if you beat me, I'm going to give out some weird prizes. So it's kind of a fun, exciting thing we're doing. Anyways, I know a lot of you probably play fantasy football. It's very, very popular these days. So good luck with your teams. And we got a game tonight, Monday. Looking forward to it. I'll be chilling with my family in Massachusetts, watching football and drinking bourbon. I mean, what a great way to spend my time tonight. I'm so excited. It's nice to catch up with family members and whatnot. So it's been a good trip. Other than the initial issue with my luggage, but we're making it work. And I'll be here the rest of the week, doing the best I can to figure out what I should do with the podcast. But it would help for some feedback. Please get a hold of me and let me know. And good luck with your life, man.